The last thread I ever watched on X started with a dare. Angel Rail Ritual streaming tonight. I didn't even think about it. I just clicked because I was already lying there in the dark with my phone burning my face and my brain refusing to shut up. I wasn't hunting for ghosts or demons or any of that crap. I just wanted noise. Something mean and stupid to stare at instead of the ceiling. Opie's first post laid it out like it was a set of instructions, like a recipe. You lay down on the tracks at night, you offer yourself, you don't move, and some angel decides if you get to stand back up. If you live, you're chosen. If not, well, congrats, you're now train-paced. Total try-hard edge shit. I rolled my eyes and kept scrolling. Then I saw the picture. Blurry station sign, washed out by a yellow platform light. The angle sucked, the resolution sucked, but the font on the sign punched right through the noise. Same font they use on my city line. I zoomed in until the pixels broke apart and still told myself it was coincidence. There are only so many ways to draw letters, right? Replies came fast. Anance laughed, called him a LARPer, told him to post bones if he was serious. The usual frog spam, gore gifs, low-effort memes. Buried in all that shit, a few people actually begged him to go home. Those posts got ignored or quoted with "Okay, Mom," and buried under layers of keck. Someone dropped "Stop attention whoring" and "Do it or don't." You know, real supportive community. He posted again. Short clips this time. Shoes crunching on gravel. The camera bobbed with his steps. You could hear a low rumble somewhere far off. The way you feel trains more than hear them. Another clip showed the tunnel mouth, all black inside, the kind of dark that swallows light instead of reflecting it. I watched it loop and my chest got tight, which was stupid because I've seen dozens of fake "I'm gonna die for you guys" videos on there. The thread split in half instantly. This is fake. Prove it, freak. Don't you fucking dare. I sat there with my thumb hovering over the keyboard, half ready to type "Go home, man," and half ready to type "No balls" just to see what would happen. I hated that about myself, even while I felt it. That tug, that stupid itch to push. It felt like standing at the edge of a roof and leaning forward just to feel the panic spike. Instead, I just refreshed. OP dropped half coordinates, just enough for the autists to lock in. They went to work like they always do. One Anon posted a map screenshot with a red circle around a station 3 stops from me. My stomach dropped so hard I actually sat up in bed. That line ran not far from my building. I wrote it almost every day. Another Anon bragged that he had the local police scanner running. He promised to live update the carnage. His word, not mine. He sounded excited. The whole thing turned into a brawl. One guy kept calling Opie a coward every time he paused between posts. Another kept pasting hotline numbers and getting called a Fed, a plant, a schizo hall monitor. You could feel the thread rewrite itself in real time. It stopped being about a lonely idiot on some tracks and became a game people wanted to win. Get Opie to do it. Get Opie to stop. Get you. Collect reactions. Opie answered every few minutes with cryptic shit, like he practiced lines in advance. Angels don't like doubt. I'm already dead, huh? The huh pissed me off more than anything. Like he wanted us to know he was still self-aware enough to be ironic while he courted Train. It read like bargain bin horror writing, but the clips kept coming and the map with a red circle kept sitting there 3 stops from me, and I didn't close the tab. He posted one clip where he walked past a warning sign I recognized. Same design, same chip corner. I'd seen it through a train window 100 times. I felt this cold, irrational urge to go to my window, look out, check if I could see him somehow, even though I knew that's not how any of this worked. Then he posted the last image before everything tipped. Shoes on steel. No body, no face, just his sneakers planted on the shiny rail, toes pointed down the line. Rails vanishing into dark. The caption under it, "Hear them?" And I actually did. That's the part that hooked into me and never let go. Through my open window came that faint rush, real and physical, the air shivering around a train on the line near my building. At the same time, My phone vibrated with the clip's audio, and for a second, I couldn't tell if the rumble came from outside or from the cheap speakers. It blended, like the phone had opened a hole in the wall between my room and the tunnel. My heart started slamming. My hand shook over the keyboard. I still didn't type anything. I just watched strangers yell at each other. The scanner anon came back a minute later. Report a trespasser in tunnel on line name. Units dispatched. The thread went absolutely feral. People screamed, "Angels, motherfucker," in all caps. Others spam, "Get off the tracks now." Someone dropped a shitty, "Press F to pay respects" macro like this was a video game cutscene. A few tried to argue with Scanner Fag, asked for timestamps, proof, called him a liar. The noise drowned everything. My building vibrated again as another train passed. This one felt slower. I swear I heard the brakes grab, that long metal whine that drills straight into your teeth. It could have been normal. It could have been nothing. But in that moment, every little sound felt important. A car door slammed outside, and my brain turned it into impact. A dog barked, and I decided it was reacting to something awful out there in the dark. More posts. "They're stopping trains in both directions," Scanner Fag said. "They're going into the tunnel." Someone asked, "You hear a hit?" He didn't answer. Hope he didn't answer. The ritual guy, the center of this giant screaming pile of text, just vanished mid-sentence. I watched the refresh button more than the thread. Nothing from him. No more clips. Just people tearing strips off each other on top of the old posts. Accusations, memes, low-effort ASCII angels. It felt like being in the back row of a crowd that might be watching a murder, squinting past heads, and hearing nothing but everyone else's commentary. At some point, I noticed my jaw hurt. I've been clenching my teeth so hard my temples throbbed. I minimized the browser, opened Spotify, put on a podcast I'd already heard twice. I turned the volume up until I could barely hear the trains anymore. I told myself I did that because the noise annoyed me. It was a lie. I just didn't want one more reason to think about what his body would look like if the brakes hadn't caught in time. I didn't sleep. I just drifted in and out with that blue glow on my wall until the sun started to leak around the curtains. Next morning, I checked the local news site like it was my job. The headline sat halfway down the page. "Service delays after incident on tracks." No details, no name, no picture, just medical emergency. That clean, bloodless phrase they love. Comments argued about suicides, mental health, train drivers, schedule reliability. Everyone had an opinion about timetables and infrastructure. No one mentioned X. No one mentioned some idiot calling a ritual. I tried to match the time in the article with the timestamps on the thread. They lined up close enough to make my skin crawl, but not enough to be sure. I went back to X. Thread was already archived, sealed like a bug in amber. Anons picked at it like vultures, linking it in new threads with what the fuck happened to this guy. Some said he backed out and faked the scanner stuff. Others insisted they heard a scream in one of the clips. Someone uploaded a slowed-down version of the tunnel video and circled shapes between the rails like they'd found wings or hands or something. Then a new post appeared on the catalog that same afternoon. Grainy photo of a different station. Same line, different stop. Caption: "Trying this tonight, FR. Opie was fake." Of course, everyone piled in again. The same dance. Coward shouting, hotline numbers, frog spam. Fresh meat. The first guy became old news in real time. A couple of replies mentioned him, and then the thread moved on. No one wanted to sit with the possibility that they'd just watch someone die. It was easier to assume he chickened out and treat the next one like content. I still take that line. I don't have a car. I can't just avoid it. There's this crossing I use almost every day to get to work. I step over the gravel, feel the hollow sound under my feet, and I never put my shoe on the actual metal anymore. It's irrational. I know that. But every time I see the tracks, I picture those sneakers in that last photo planted on the rail like an offering. Sometimes when a train roars through and the ground trembles, I feel my throat tighten and I remember how I sat in my room and did nothing but scroll. I don't know if anyone died there that night. The only thing I know for sure is that a few thousand of us treated a maybe real, maybe fake death as entertainment for a few hours, then scrolled away like it was nothing. I met the worst person I know on our 9K, and it wasn't one of the crying robot virgins. It was the guy who bragged about what he did to them. The thread title hooked me like it was written with my exact brand of morbid curiosity in mind. Ask a guy who cures and kills. I was half asleep, doom scrolling, brain on autopilot. I clicked it expecting some smug normie talking shit. Maybe some just go outside bro routine I could hate read and move on from. Instead, I clicked into this slow, clinical car crash. Opie wasn't raging, wasn't ranting, didn't even sound excited. He posted like he wrote a guide. No caps, no memes, just this dead calm tone. He said he ran projects, like he managed spreadsheets, not people. He explained it piece by piece. He'd lurk our 9K and SOC. Watch the threads where guys spilled their guts at 3 a.m. The ones who posted shaky bathroom selfies and typed things like, "I'm 24 and I've never held a girl's hand." The ones everyone else either ignored or farmed for cheap laughs. He'd comb through their post history, pick the ones who sounded the most desperate, the most alone, the most ready to cling to anything. Then he'd steal pictures from random women on Instagram. Real people. Normal girls who posted coffee cups and dogs and gym selfies. He'd rip whole galleries, build fake accounts, scrub them just enough to look shy but real, and then he'd slide into the DMs of those guys. He didn't hide any of it. He typed like he described a workout routine or a meal prep plan. Phase 1, love bomb. Phase 2, isolate. Phase 3, break. That's how he wrote it. Short, clean, like bullet points on a PowerPoint. He posted screenshots too, cropped just enough to dodge a ban. You could still see enough. Chat logs where she told some guy he was special, that nobody else got him. He'd spam hearts and pet names. I stayed up thinking about you. You're the only one who makes me feel safe. All that shit you see in those cringy TikToks, except aimed straight at the weakest people he could find. Then the next messages in the screenshot would shift. He'd tell them they didn't need therapy. They didn't need meds. They didn't need friends. You only need me, baby. They just hold you back. He bragged about convincing one guy to ghost his only friend because he sounds jealous. He had receipts. You could see timestamps. You could watch the guy go from, "I'm not sure," to "Okay, I'll do it if that makes you happy." The thread ate it up. Based. Kino. Natural selection. Little laughing emojis, skull emojis, the usual brain rot. A couple of anons said, "You're actually a psycho," or "This isn't funny," but those replies drowned instantly under cope, seethe, and slurs. Opie never answered them. He responded only to people who treated it like a life hack. Then he started describing one guy in particular, and my chest tightened because I knew who the fuck he meant before he even finished the first sentence. Skinny, mid-20s, lives with parents, works nights, talks about trains a lot. I froze because I recognized the pattern. I'd seen those posts for years. The dude who made threads about maybe meeting someone at the station, who posted pictures of train cars at sunset with captions like "feels comfy tonight." He wrote these long, autistic info dumps about rail systems and ticket machines and late schedules. People memed on him sometimes, but he never lashed out. He always answered politely, like he tried to turn every insult into a conversation. I told him to touch grass, once when he whined about being lonely. Then I felt like a dick and replied again and said, "Sorry, I didn't mean it like that." And he just sent a smiley. I still remember that. A dumb colon parenthesis in terminal green. Opie said he catfished him for 8 months. 8 fucking months. He made the guy send voice notes. He made him talk about his day, his fears, his parents, his job at the station. He asked him to describe what he smelled on the platform at night. He had him write out future plans, where they'd meet, what they'd eat, which trains they'd take together, which city they'd move to once we save up. The guy poured every small hope into that fake girl. Then Opie started to twist the knife. He'd vanish for days right before important stuff, job evaluations, doctor appointments. The guy would double text, triple text, panic in the screenshots. Are you okay? Did I do something wrong? Opie would ignore him until 3 a.m., then come back with walls of text accusing him of cheating, of talking to other girls, of not caring enough. He'd pick fights right before the guy's shifts, so he showed up to work exhausted, shaking, eyes red from crying. Opie wrote that part like it was a punchline. He told me he almost got hit by a train once because he was dizzy, When the guy begged, Opie would drip-feed affection back. A single heart emoji. Good boy, maybe I'll visit next month. He'd never commit. He kept him on a leash stretched over thousands of miles of internet cable. He admitted openly that he enjoyed the voice messages the most. He typed, "You can hear when they break. It's like a click." I read that line 3 times. I heard it in my head like a sound effect. A little mechanical snap somewhere inside someone. And Anon finally asked the only sane question in the thread. What's your endgame? Why not just ghost and move on? Opie said he preferred to steer them. That was the word that made my stomach drop. Steer. Like they weren't people, just shopping carts he nudged into traffic. He'd suggest they confront someone IRL. A boss, a friend, some random who disrespected the fake girlfriend. He'd gas them up, call them my strong man, tell them no real woman wants a doormat. He bragged about one project, who wound himself up enough to swing at a co-worker who joked about his online girlfriend. Got fired. Opie thought it was comedy. Another project smashed his own phone on the kitchen table in front of his parents because the girlfriend said, "If you don't prove you care, I'm gone." Opie described the dad's reaction like he watched the whole thing, but it was just from texts. My dad yelled, my mom cried, I panicked, the guy wrote, and Opie posted it like a trophy. Then he dropped the part that made my lungs feel tight, like the air got heavier through the monitor. He said one of them ended up in a psych ward after an attempt. He didn't give details, just said he saw a suicide bait thread on our 9K with the same typing style as his project, then a week of silence. No posts, no logins. Then the Discord account he used to run the fake girl stopped coming online altogether. He wrote, 10 of 10 experiment would run again. I alt-tabbed away at that point. Actually closed the tab, stare at my desktop, palms sweating like I'd done something wrong just by reading it. My brain tried to reject it. I told myself it was fake, some bored edgelord. I opened YouTube, scrolled, didn't click anything, went back to Reddit like a junkie checking the same pockets. I went into the archives and started digging. I found a train guy's old posts. I recognized his typing style instantly. Too polite for that board. Little thank you for advice, messages under insults, photos of empty train cars. Wish someone sat here with me. It hurt to read. The last post from him was a simple line. I'm gonna meet her next week. Wish me luck, robots. No follow-up. No, it went great. No meltdown. No, she never showed up. Just silence after that. Maybe he got better. Maybe he found real friends and just stopped posting. That's what I told myself while I scrolled through the dead end of his history. But when I lined it up with the dates Opie mentioned, the 8 months, the suicide bait thread, the sudden offline status, the timings matched too closely. It felt like staring at chalk marks where a body used to lie. The horror wasn't just what Opie did. It was watching how easily the board bent around him. Half the replies wanted tips. They asked him how to copy his method, how to pick targets, how to keep them hooked. People dropped their own experiments like they talked about modifying a game. I made a Femenon alt and got a guy to send me rent money. I pretended to be suicidal till he cut his brother off for me. They laughed about it. They rated each other. A tiny minority kept saying, this is fucked, this is how school shooters are made. You're actually evil. But those posts got buried under L+ ratio clones and KYS spam. The algorithm of human attention did the rest. The thread lived for hours, maybe longer. I don't know. I stopped checking. I still see certain accounts sometimes that feel off. Girl avatars in male spaces, weirdly patient, weirdly tuned to every insecurity. They always know exactly when to answer. Always online when the same sad users post. They never talk about their own lives much, only ask questions, guide conversations, steer. That word haunts me now. Sometimes I catch myself staring at their comments too long, trying to read patterns in the timing, the phrasing, the way they hand out affection like breadcrumbs over a pit. I'll hover over the report button, then close the tab instead because what do I even write? Possible emotional vivisection? Feels like that one asshole from our 9K. The part that makes me hate myself the most is simple and stupid and impossible to fix now. I didn't report the thread. I didn't save screenshots. I didn't DM mods. I just sat there, scrolling, letting his words soak into my brain. I read every line. I laughed once, I think, this short, shocked bark when he called someone a perfect lab rat. Then I felt sick and kept reading anyway. When I finished, I closed the tab and told myself it was probably all lies. Because if it wasn't, then I watched a man dissect real lives for entertainment and did fuck all about it. My sister's face still floats around on B as a reaction image, and none of them know they helped wreck her for real. She's not online brained. She never chased clout or whatever. She posted normal shit, graduation pics, dog photos, the occasional selfie with some dumb caption like pizza is my boyfriend or bad hair day, but whatever. She'd ask me sometimes if the lighting looked okay, then shrug and hit post. That was her whole internet presence. She didn't live in it. She just dipped in and out like normal people do. One of those selfies made it to 4chan. I still don't know who ripped it. Some friend of a friend, some asshole from a party. Maybe someone she turned down once, I don't know. All I know is that one night I was half bored, half depressed, scrolling be like I always did, and I opened one of those rate this attention whore threads, expecting the usual strangers. And there she was, my sister, laughing in our kitchen, holding a beer, the ugly yellow light over the sink, the fridge in the back with our stupid magnet alphabet, center of the catalog, like a punch in the face. Opie called her a serial cheater and claimed she gave him an STD. He wrote this whole fake story about how she raw-dogged half the town. I knew it was bullshit. She'd been with the same guy for years, and she was annoying about condoms. But the replies didn't care. They never care. They tore her apart. Face, body, every tiny thing. Horse teeth. 5-head. Probably smells like fish. They zoomed in on her elbows, for fuck's sake. Then somebody asked for more info, so they could warn others. I watched them circle like sharks. It took them half an hour to find her accounts. 30 minutes. They treated it like a puzzle game. Enhanced the background. One of them wrote like it was CSI. They grabbed our last name from this dusty softball trophy on the shelf behind her. I remember when she cried happy tears over that stupid trophy. Now it was a breadcrumb for a lynch mob. From there, they Googled the name, found our town, our parents' Facebooks, her Instagram, her LinkedIn. One anon posted a screenshot of my mom's profile pic and wrote, "Nice breeding stock." I sat there, hands hovering over the keyboard, my stomach flipping. I could feel my heart slam in my throat. I kept thinking, say something, say something, say something, but I also knew that board. I'd lurked for years. I'd watch them dogpile anyone who tried to play moral cop. Every time someone posted, "Yo, she didn't do anything," they tore him apart too, called him a simp, a cuck, dug into his stuff for sport. So I told myself it'll slide. They'll get bored. I convinced myself I was being smart by doing nothing. I minimized the window and pretended I hadn't seen it. For maybe 10 minutes. Then I opened it again. It hadn't slid. It grew. Anant started messaging her sponsors, small clothing brands that sent her leggings for workout pics, a little fitness page that reposted her gym selfies. They linked the thread as proof she scammed and slept around. They wrote long fake testimonies like, "She slept with me while I was married and then stole my wallet." I watched them copy-paste the same lie into different brand accounts. They spammed her DMs with slurs and kill yourself messages. One of them somehow pulled her work email from LinkedIn and sent a formal complaint to HR about inappropriate conduct with students. She worked at a fucking elementary school. She taught kids how to read and tie their shoes. She came home that night, white as paper, eyes glassy, phone buzzing nonstop on the table. I was on the couch, pretending to play something on my laptop. She asked if I knew what 4chan even was. Her voice shook. I looked straight at her and lied. I said it was just some forum, probably a mix-up, some trolls. She tried to explain, kept stumbling over words like STD and cheater, like saying them made them become real. I told her, it'll blow over. Don't feed it. I sounded calm. Inside, I felt like someone jammed a fork in an outlet. While she cried in her room, I went back to B and watched them escalate. They weren't even talking about her as a person anymore. She was content. They wrote scripts to call the school and report her. They drafted fake parents' emails in the thread, line by line. Concerned mother here, I heard they coached each other on how to sound believable. I read one anon type, say your kid came home asking what raw dogging means, and another replied, Keck. She begged me the next day to help her draft replies, to the principal, to sponsors, to some mom who sent her this passive-aggressive Facebook message asking if the allegations were true. She sat at the dining table, laptop open, tissues everywhere, smudging her makeup on her sleeves. What do I say? She kept asking. I wanted to tell her, it doesn't matter. They already decided. Instead, I tried to glue words together, corporate bullshit about false claims and defamation, like any of that mattered to people who just wanted blood. Within a week, the school called her in and put her on administrative leave while investigating. That's the phrase they used, like she might be a predator. She walked out of that meeting and sat in her car in the parking lot for an hour. I know because she texted me every few minutes with shorter and shorter messages until it was just, I can't breathe. Sponsors quietly dropped her, no explanation, just we're moving in a different direction. Her boyfriend saw the thread, saw the fake DM someone had photoshopped of her sexting random guys, and he didn't even argue. He just came over, jaw clenched, phone in his hand, and said he needed time to think. Then he left the key on the counter. I wanted to scream at him, at her at the screen, at myself. I wanted to throw my laptop through the window. I wanted to go into that thread and type, I'm her brother, she did nothing, stop this, you fucking psychos. But I'd seen what happened whenever someone admitted a link to a target. The mob turned on them too, dug into their shit for sport. I picture my own face as a reaction image next to hers. So I shut up and watched strangers decide my sister deserved to lose her life because they wanted a laugh. The horror wasn't a jump scare moment. It didn't hit all at once. It was slow, like rot on a wall you can't see, but you smell. Days turned to weeks, and she stopped leaving the house except for mandatory meetings. She quit the gym she loved because she saw two girls whispering by the squat rack and convinced herself they recognized her from some screenshot. She flinched whenever her phone buzzed. Sometimes she'd snatch it up and then just stare at the screen, not unlocking it like the notifications might bite. Once late at night, she knocked on my door. No makeup, eyes puffy, hair in this sad knot. She asked me if I thought it would ever go away. That's how she said it. Not this or the thread. Just it, like it was a presence in the house. I couldn't tell her the truth, that I'd already seen screenshots saved on random imager albums, reposted on other boards, even on some normie meme page with a caption about watch out for this hoe. So I said yes. I said people move on. The internet forgets. I sounded like a motivational poster. I knew it wouldn't. Her face had already detached from her real story and attached to this lie they liked better. Months later, after she moved back in with our parents and nuked most of her online presence, I was back on B out of habit. That's the sickest part. I still went there. I still scrolled past other people's ruined lives like they were passing clouds. Then I saw her again. Different thread, same face. Some anon posted a collage of classic roast material girls. 9 squares, 9 women, all mid-laugh or mid-blink, all captured at their least flattering angles. There she was squeezed between 2 strangers, mouth open mid-laugh, that same kitchen in the background. This time there was red text stamped over her, diseased homewrecker. I actually said, oh fuck, out loud to an empty room. Anyone got the docs? Someone asked. Casual, like asking for a recipe. Another anon replied. Old, but yeah, search the archives. They didn't need to retell the whole story. They didn't even care if it was true anymore, if they ever did. They just needed the image and the attached info. They talked about refreshing the milk, like pulling her file out of cold storage. She was a reusable prop now. Pull her out when things get slow, slap some new jokes on her, toss her back. I felt something snap in me then. Not heroic, just desperate. I made a throwaway and posted anyway. She lost her job because of this. Hope the laughs were worth it. My hand shook so hard I mistyped twice. I hit send and stared at the screen like it might explode. 20 replies stacked up in seconds. LARP, based consequences. Good. Post proof or get the fuck out. Tell her to post tits to apologize. Every line hit like someone flicked me in the forehead over and over. Then one user wrote, if you're really her brother, stand by the window and wave right now, and attached a blurry street view of our house from 3 years ago. Our house. The peeling paint on the porch, my dad's rusted truck in the driveway, the tree I fell out of when I was 8. It sat there in the thread like a loaded gun. That's when I realized they hadn't just ruined her online life. They hadn't just cost her a job or a boyfriend or sponsors. They'd quietly pinned us to a real map, in some folder or paste bin or Discord server, for whenever they felt bored enough to come back. We were coordinates now, attached to a running joke. She thinks it all died down. I let her think that. I tell her nobody talks about it anymore. That news scandals pushed hers down into the abyss. She goes outside again, sometimes. She posts the occasional dog pic on a locked account. She tries to build something like a normal life on top of the crater. I'm the one who still checks the archives and sees her frozen there, forever mid-laugh, surrounded by anonymous vultures who don't even remember why they started tearing her apart in the first place.